Hello, everyone. Once again, this is Obaid, and I wanted to talk to you about controlling one's emotions. It's something that I myself personally am dealing with, and it's something that I wanted to bring up because of previous experiences. Everybody has emotions. Everybody feels them. It's all in it how it is that you express these emotions, however. That can be to your benefit or to your detriment. And once again, reflecting back on my own personal experiences, I've had a certain level of difficulty in controlling my emotions. And it's led me to do and say things out of emotion without any real thought to them that have only wound up hurting me in the long run. And having control of this is one of those things that can be very, very difficult to do, especially if you're not trained to do so. Now, what I mean by training is just having the proper outlet or the proper medium through which you can be able to express whatever emotions it is that you feel. Having a support system, so to speak. Now, that kind of support system can be a lot of different things. It could be therapy, a psychologist or a psychiatrist. There are differences between the two. I just don't remember what they are. Having family or friends that you can confide in is another good way, especially if there's the possibility that they might feel the same way about certain things. So then that could also be in your benefit because it gives you an outlet to be able to talk to and express those feelings to. Now, I, as a perfect example, tried to get back in contact with some other people in the same situation that I've been in before, where it is that I'm trying to make some changes in my life personally. And in those interactions, I felt a whole roller coaster of emotions. And when you get that way, it becomes so intense that you just sometimes lose control and you wind up saying things that you probably shouldn't have, which pretty much is exactly what got me into the situation that I'm in. And it's gotten me deeper down into that hole because of emotions yet again. And I can tell you from experience that it's hard to shake if you let it continue to consume you. Which is part of why it is that I actually put this video up, because it's kind of a personal therapy for myself, in that I'll look back at this and I'll remember what it was that I did. I'll remember the mistakes that I made, and I'll see how it is that I react to making those mistakes in the future, in hopes that the reaction is going to be something that is a lot more productive than what it is that I did initially. to bring forth me sitting here talking in front of this camera about controlling emotions. And so in me doing that, hopefully if anybody else out there feels the same way and happens to watch this video, they can know too that they can do something about it themselves if they find that support. Because the one thing that you don't want to do is keep those emotions buried inside. Because once you do that, you're setting yourself up for disaster, because it's only going to wind up building up and building up even more and more until it finally explodes, and eventually it's going to. That much I can guarantee. And just like an explosive, there's going to be a lot of damage done. And a lot of that damage is not going to be able to be repaired no matter how hard you try. And it's just a matter of coming to that realization that every action has a reaction. Just like I said in my previous video. Nothing it is that you do and nothing it is that you say comes without some form of reaction or response by others. Or by yourself even. Your reaction could be thinking to yourself that you did something really stupid. You made a very big mistake. Or it could be that you feel good and that you're happy and that you're content and satisfied, or that you're looking to make something better happen. Any of these could be the reaction. It's just a matter of how it is that you have control over your own personal situation. And if you don't, how it is that you're going to go about trying to get that control. Because you do need that control. Without that control, you have no control over anything. Once again, I go back to saying being your own best friend. And that goes a long way, because yourself is the ultimate support system. If you have that much going for you, then you're able to control a lot. But of course, having that is something that not many people have. Or should I say not many, but something that a lot of people don't have. And it's something that has to be looked into. It's something that has to be internally reflected on from each and every individual. The opposite of keeping it all in is letting it all out without any concurrent thought or any processing of what it is that you're feeling at that time. And that can be just as destructive. Maybe not as destructive as an outburst, but it's the next best thing. It's only like a slight level below it. Because in that, you're still letting those emotions get the better of you. And you're not thinking straight. And you're saying things that maybe you don't mean. Or you're reacting to things in ways that you really shouldn't. Could be childish ways, could be petty ways, could be destructive ways. But you have to stop and think to yourself. Whenever it is that something is getting to you or getting the better of you, something that I was told that in all truth I probably should wind up utilizing a whole lot more when I get into these type of situations where I'm thinking too much or I'm letting emotions get to me is think to yourself, what purpose? Those two words, what purpose? As in, what purpose do I have in saying what it is that I'm about to say? What good is going to come of this? What response is going to be made from what it is that I say? And thinking that every time, you can even think that right now to something that you might have said in the past. You don't even look back to the future, or look forward to the future, excuse me. You wouldn't even need to do that, but just think back right now to something that you might have said in the past, and think to yourself, what purpose did that serve? What did I get out of it? And if the answer to that is nothing good in particular, then that right there should give you ample example that you have to find some kind of control. You have to gain some kind of control. And it's not going to be easy. I'm going to tell you that right now, and I'm going to tell you that from experience, that it's not easy. It's self-reflection and self-help is one of the toughest things that you can possibly do, because you have to look really deep into yourself in ways that you've never really seen before. And it can be done, perhaps with some assistance, usually with some assistance, but it can be done. The first step is to realize that you need to find that control. And then the second step after that is to do whatever it is that you need to do to start finding those outlets to help you. And then along the way, whenever it is that you find a fork in that road, or a block, or a bump, or something that brings up some form of emotion or any kind, whatever it may be, think to yourself, what purpose? What purpose do I have saying this? And that should calm down any emotion that you have. And if it doesn't, then is the time for you to really reflect and find some sort of assistance before you wind up doing more damage, or damage in general, that might not be able to be repaired. It's a step in the process, but it's one that can be reached. One that has to be reached if you truly are looking towards bettering yourself, to make yourself better for others. And in closing, I'd like to leave you with a quote from Mark Twain, which is, "The worst possible loneliness is not to be comfortable with yourself." And that's something that I'm going to elaborate on a little bit in my next video, which I hope you stop in and take a listen to. So until then, thank you for watching this one. Feel good about yourself and take care of yourself.